Alright, so this video will be very important for everyone that wants to have a head start when Global comes out, and obviously for people also playing Korea/JP right now too, but majority of you are not. So, how do you maximize characters? In the game, the builds are honestly very diverse. Each and every character has its own unique role, so you want to know how can I get the most out of my DPSs, my debuffers, my supports, my healers, and here's the video for that. So I'm going to be going over each individual step. There's no order for what step is more important. Ideally, you want to do everything. So, but focus on specific characters. Note that this is a resource game, especially in the beginning. You're not going to have enough resources to get all of the characters done. Focus on the characters you want most. And ideally, what I would suggest is focus on characters that can farm gear, farm you XP, and play PvP. Those are like the three big things, I think. And if you can get the team that can do that for you, I'll recommend one as well. Then that'll be, I would say, perfect. So, how do you get the most out of your character? Start by leveling it up. I know, it's obvious. But just know that for you to get your character max level, it's very important to max out affinity, because where you get the dupes from, which you need to get the character to LR, is from here. I made a video on how not to mess up your account by using these dupes as in the process of SSR to UR awakening, so don't do that. But here on the affinity farm, or the affinity levels, you're gonna get these to get a character to SSR, from SSR to UR, and then the actual dupes to get them from UR to LR. And the LR, boy, leveling up the character makes a huge difference. I was trying to do the new raid with a level 80 Fugoleon. Couldn't do it. As soon as I made him level 90, did it instantly. It's a big difference. If you want to farm affinity, the best place to farm is in one of these stages over here in the world. So once you go in the worlds, right here with your mini Asta walking around, these stages are the place to farm affinity specifically. And I would recommend to farm places where you can also farm the actual friendship level of the place. So by farming these stages, you'll get around 400 affinity for the character. Right now, you can actually use skip tickets as well. So I would recommend using your skip tickets here for the most part, actually, because it's one of the best places to do so. But here, friendship level is also very important because of a different step. But if you get a world level 4 friendship, you can pick a dupe for one of the starter characters. More specifically, you know, the characters that you want to use for, like I said, for your PvP, for your gear farming. I would recommend Lotus, by the way. So, got your character leveled up. You know, you want to level up. You want to farm the XP pots to actually level them up. XP pots are a pain in the ass to farm, by the way. Point that out. You got your character leveled up. Now what? Very, very important thing that I neglected, I don't know why, for a long time, are the talents. My god, when I tell you, these things boost up your character, I mean it. These things are so important for your character. You want to be prioritizing getting your talents up for your characters. And now note, what does your character want more? For example, a unit like Blue Yami, he's a damaging character, so you want to focus on the damaging, the red ones. You can see here I unlocked the full wheel for Blue Yami because I was curious what would happen, and you insert this. For now, I would recommend just unlocking 2 of them because you can only use 2 at a time. If you unlock 6, you unlock this middle thing. Not important right now for the early game. Focus on that later. What you want to do is you want to get the whole like 6 right here, right? You want to get these right here. Not specifically, doesn't have to be these for every single character. These ones right here, you want to look which character needs them more. But I would say as a general rule, these are the best for majority of characters. This right here, I think it's 10% extra damage. It's in Korean, I'm sorry. But this right here specifically, these 2 are super good. This one's like 10% damage reduction. This one increases your stats when turns happen, I think. 20% defense, and this is also crit resistance or something. These are by far and away the best for majority of characters, but you want to unlock talents. Very important. Go ahead and when you can, farm the talents for your most important characters, right? Your characters are going to be farming gear, playing PvP. In PvP, the talents matter. So, very, very, very huge. Like I said, this is no order though, but I would say talents are very important. Now, gear. Gear is the most important. I say that there's no order, but there is. Gear is the most important. But just note that you won't be able to farm like LR gear until you have your talents unlocked, I would say. My current farming team, and honestly this is the team that I recommend for majority of people to go for when the Global comes out, because it farms the best gear set. This is the highest difficulty gear stage. Stage 15, and I have 100% win ratio with this team right here. A mono blue team with the 4 best blue characters in the game. 100% win ratio. This team never loses, even before I had LR gear. But what I did do though, on like these 3, so there's 3 difficulties that drop LR. I think they're all the same difficulty, but they have different like CC requirements. I don't know. They are all the same difficulty though. I was not beating every time. I was losing like about half the time before I unlocked the talents. I'm telling you how much of a difference it is. It went from being like 30 to 50% completion rate to now 100. I never lose. And then now I can farm LR gear. And the gear is very important. So when you're gearing a character, like I said, you want to farm the gear from the gear stage. What you want to do is look at what your character wants the most. A character that wants to do the most damage, he wants, guess what? Attack, right? They want attack. If they're a character that's more heavily towards magic, you might want to focus more on magic. But as you can see from my Yami, I have some weird like gear sets right here. Like I have defense, I have speed, I have HP. But the most important thing is the main stat on the gear. The main stat on all of these gears, all of them, is attack, because that will maximize my damage. Oh, except this one's magic. But I'm going to replace this as soon as I can. This is only here because it's a golden attack. And like you see, it is here because it's golden attack, because the stats also are very important. I'm going to flash out really quickly. No, I'm not going to flash you out, don't worry. But I'm going to flash out on screen some screenshots from this person right here, Kujira. He makes some pretty good like builds on Twitter. And he also has a YouTube channel. If you want to follow his Twitter or his YouTube, I'm going to put a link in the description. Very, very useful. It's probably going to be putting out a lot of content when Global comes out as well. But he has like pictures here of the translation for each set, and he also recommends some sets for specific characters. As you can see, each set is focused on one thing, and each character wants a different thing. So I use the Yami for an example because it's the most simple, because he's just a damaging character, right? He wants attack. Like, he's one of the boys. He wants attack. There's regular gear sets, and then there's the golden gear sets. And when you're using like a regular gear set, you can use like a 2 or 4 set, and the same thing for gold. But as you will see, on my game, I have a golden attack set and a regular attack set. And the reason why I don't make a 4 set of gold or a 4 set of regular is because when you look at the gear set right here, so let's say I have 4 regular attacks. These 2 pieces, I would have to sacrifice gears that would have main attack stat to have gears with HP main stat, which is not it for a damaging character. So this is the one thing you need to look for on your gear. Same goes for characters that are trying to be a debuffer. So Lotus here is a debuffer. So what you're looking for is hit gear. Gear that's gonna make the debuffs land. Now for a debuffer like Lotus, it can be a little more weird with your main stat gear. I have been focusing on being all around, but I ideally eventually want to also focus on him being a big damage dealer, because I know Lotus can be. So I have a hit set for him to land more debuffs. I have speed, golden speed, so he's faster. And I have golden attack, so he hits a little bit harder. And that's my idea here, being a little all-rounder. But I want to make him more of a damaging character as well eventually. So if the character is a tanky character, so let's say Mars here, just plop on all the defense, man. And HP. I have main stat HP gear. I have some main stat attack as well, but only because I wanted to make the full set. In this situation, making the full set is fine. I have some main stat magic as well. For him specifically, I would want to have main stat attack over magic, but it doesn't matter. Defense, defense. Tanky character, main stat defense. That not very hard concept. But let's say, right, a character like Raids, or even like Mimosa, right? Those are characters that are more on the support slash healer type side. Raids is a weird one. Let's go for Mimosa. So Mimosa, she wants to be tanky, right? So you want to give her like a gear that's going to give her HP and defense. Like on my situation, because I am currently only farming attack gear for the most part. The stage that drops attack gear doesn't drop HP gear. For her, I would want to have HP over defense 100%. But one thing is, from her ultimate and from her skills in general, her healing skill, she uses magic, right? So you'd want her gear to also be giving her magic whenever possible. So I have mostly defense and HP, but you can see this one has magic and this one has magic, so that her heal is stronger. You want to get the most out of her heal as well, as you also want her to tank. So I have, you know, her on speed, so she gets a little more turns in, gets more heals in, and also tanks better, heals better. That's the idea. When it comes to gears as well, you also have these gears, the ones on top. I'm gonna make a gear guide video, much more complex than this. I'm just giving you like a big roundup. When I have these as well, like I give her like defense. I think this one I didn't have much of a choice, so magic, that's good too. When you get these, just plop the ones that are better for them. I think that when it's like class specific, it's already going to be the best possible, but I'm not sure. Those like are very new. So that's the gist of it when it comes to gear. The main stat is the most important thing on a gear. The substats are also going to be important, but for now on the early game, like for example, Blue Yami, he doesn't care about like accuracy on his gear, but I don't have much of a choice right now. You know, on the early game currently, the most important thing is get the most out of the main stat and then the set as well. So that's gear. That was a long explanation, but gear is very important and very complex too. Next up is also very important. I mean, everything's very important. What am I saying? Leveling up the skills. There's no reason for you to have the most attack possible if your skills aren't going to have the highest multiplier it can be. Now, a skill going from level 1 to 5 is a big deal. But a skill going from 4 to 5 is not that big of a deal. So like for example, my Yami here, right? I'm really focusing on him, so you can see I already have a skill level 5 and stuff like that. I'm trying to maximize him, for him to do the most damage he can do. So I'll say, you know, like I've been mentioning, pick characters that are currently doing you the most and focus on leveling them up, because these resources are very scarce. But for example, like Mars, right? Mars, when he comes down to his skills, I did level this up, but honestly I shouldn't have. He also increases damage on his skills. Mars is a defender character. Do I want him to increase damage on his skills that much? I mean, it's nice, but right now, man, I want to crunch for resources. I'm not going to focus the most. Like, I leveled up this skill so that he would have more stun chance. Leveled up this skill for more chance. Like, if the skill gives me more chance for debuffs from a defender character, sure. But more damage? I don't know, man. Does a defender character need more damage? Not so sure about that. So you want to pick and choose the characters you want to, you know, get the most out of. Because the resource is very, very limited. Like Raids, for example, I'm not going to level up the first skill for a while. He's a great character, but the first skill for me is not it. The fourth skill, though, very important. Very important. Next skill I'm getting leveled up is this one. Because, you know, the most out of the shield. So, pick and choose the skills that are most significant for the character and go with it. Like, I think my William is like full level 1s. And like I said, he is on my gear farming team. But he had like, his shit is all level 1. Not my biggest concern right now, and won't be for a while probably. So you gotta make your own decisions here, but just be smart with it. The next thing is gonna make your character the most impressive is obviously gonna be dupes. That's out of your control for the most part, because you know you need to pull the character. But in this game, there's other ways of actually getting the dupes. So for example, like I mentioned, when you level up your like the town's level, you'll be able to get a dupe that you can pick. Actually, you can just straight pick the dupe from this box. And again, like I picked a dupe for Lotus because I want my Lotus to be very strong. But also from like your monthly mission, I think it's here, you get like a dupe for a character you can choose. Look at this, from the raid, the new raid that's currently out, on the shop, I go on the shop, then I go here, 2 dupes, oh, wrong thing, 2 dupes from the raid currency, which I'm going to be able to buy in a few days. Like, you need to get these dupes and pick characters that you know are very relevant for you and make them the most impressive as possible. My next character I'm going to finish duping is this Yami because he's seasonal, so I know after his, I know I'm never going to pull him again until he comes back, who knows when. So I'm not, stingy. I'm going to give him the dupe coin because I know I'm not going to pull him again for a while. You need to pick your characters that you're going to dupe out. Like a character like William, right? He's a great unit, but I'm not very concerned with giving him dupes because what he does, he's already really great at, and the dupes are only going to make him slightly better. But for Yami, like the next dupe gives him more attack. Like, come on. That's just more damage from the damage guy, you know? Be like smart with the dupes you pick for each character, for sure. To end the video, this next tip is more general, but I think is also very important. Know where to bring your characters. So, like I mentioned, the gear stage. I have 100% win ratio with this team. 100%. My team does not lose on this stage. Highest difficulty. You know what happens if I bring this team, this specific team on the other gear stages? They're going to lose on difficulty 10. Because this stage is full blue, right? So my blue team is going to be type neutral, not type advantage. I want to bring a full green team. Do not bring red Yami on a stage where the enemies are freaking red and expect him to be better than blue Yami at that stage. Same goes for the same thing. Don't bring blue Yami on a stage where the enemies are green and expect him to be better than red Yami on that stage. Be smart with that. What you can do every time is, I have red Yami here. I don't have gear on him because, man, I'm struggling for gear right now. But guess what? If I want to use him, just plop from blue Yami. If two characters are similar in what they need gear-wise, you can just swap their gears between them, Just swap the gears. Boom, blue Yami got his gear back. I can use blue Yami now. If I want to use red Yami, I'll use it like that. Like red Asta and Jack, for example, they share the gears as well. This is just random stuff, but like if I want to use Jack, I just pick the full attack. This is all attack gear. Like the sets are weird, but this is all attack gear, right? From him, and I can use Jack. So just know where to bring each character, and you have a much better time farming stuff for sure. That's about it. I think that covers basically everything. And yeah,